Tanner Kern here from coldhardfootballfacts.com coming at you with a pick for TNF between the Saints and the Broncos. This is going to be an ugly matchup. I don't want anything to do with the side or a total here. I would lean under on 37.5. However, it's just too risky of a line for me because there's so much unexpected things that could happen in this game. When you look at the Denver Broncos right now, you got Bo Nix, who's a young quarterback early in his career going on the road to a tough, hostile environment against a New Orleans team that has been okay on defense at times. The Saints offensively, though, just so many injuries right now. No Chris Olave, no Rashid Shaheed, and a quarterback in Spencer Rattler making his second start. A lot of people said Rattler looked good in his first start. He looked okay. I tend to disagree with that. The Buccaneers gave him the football inside the 50 multiple times, and they couldn't find a way to convert when they needed to. So I think Rattler is going to be okay tonight. We are leaning on Rattler a little bit for our prop. However, it's probably not going to be a good night for the Saints. And honestly, it could be a bad night for the Broncos too if New Orleans gets going on defense. So the prop that I'm taking, I do love, but that's the only thing I love in this game. Before we get into that prop, though, make sure you guys check out coldhardfootballfacts.com. That's linked in the description below. All the stats that we're using come from Cold Hard. The picks come from Cold Hard. They're data-driven picks based off these game capsules that we give every single week. So you can get all these game capsules for every matchup, the write-ups, and the picks here, which I believe we went 15-8 in week 6 here. 15-8. Pretty good week. You guys can get that for free this season if you go down the link in the description below and sign up. The prop that we're going with tonight, Alvin Kamara over 34.5 receiving yards. If you want to see my write-up, it is on coldhardfootballfacts.com. Small little write-up here. But basically, my thought process behind this is when you don't have Chris Olave and you don't have Rashid Shaheed, who Shaheed has grown as a receiver. He's not just a deep threat. He's able to run a lot in a route tree right now. They're going to need to target Alvin Kamara. He is the third best receiving option on this team, even as a running back. And tonight he will be the best receiving option on this team just because you don't have Olave and you don't have Shaheed. Looking at the Denver Broncos, they play really good defense when it comes to the secondary. 5th in defensive passer rating right now, which measures how efficient a secondary is. And they are also 5th in defensive hog index, which measures how well they get pressure on the quarterback. Also has a few other things in there, but pressure is one of the things that defensive hog index takes into account. Also, they are 2nd in defensive real passing yards per attempt. So Denver's not going to give up a lot of big plays through the air down the field. Not that the Saints have the guys to go run those patterns tonight. If Rashid Shaheed was in the lineup, he might be the only one who could beat Denver down the field because they've been so good containing opposing offenses from the big plays. But when you're looking at New Orleans, they're not going to have those guys. They're going to have to run a lot of screens. They're going to have to use Kamara as a safety valve out of the backfield. And also, when you factor in that Spencer Rattler's a rookie quarterback, this is a moment where he's going to use his running back consistently. They're going to have to get him involved early. There's going to be opportunities for Kamara, on screens to get him outside the tackle box and get him going with a little running start. And he's going to have to go make plays like he's running the football. But I do see him going over 34.5 receiving yards. The line's starting to creep up a little bit, so I would get it as soon as you possibly can. Again, when you look at Kamara, too, he's gone over this line in 4 of his past 5 games. Didn't go over last week. The Buccaneers defense did a really good job keeping him in check from a receiving standpoint and a rushing standpoint. But Alvin Kamara tonight, this is a game that he needs to go off. And it wouldn't surprise me if they use him in the slot a lot just because they don't have any other options. So look for him to get a ton of touches tonight. I'd go over on the receiving yards. The receptions, different story. I'd still go over if I have to, but I do think the receiving yards is more of a value play. The Saints might hit for a big play with him, and he might not get the bulk receptions tonight if they're not moving the ball, but the big play is going to come with him at some point, and that's why I would take the over of 34.5 yards. Again, guys, if you want these game capsules for every single matchup, the write-ups, the stats, all that good stuff, the picks, make sure you guys go check it out. That link is in the description below. Let's have a night and check out coldhardfootballfacts.com.